The look on Emma's face when she walked into my bedroom that afternoon will haunt me forever. Not because she was angry or disgusted, but because she looked relieved, like she had been holding her breath for 6 months and could finally exhale. I had been living the most exhausting lie of my life, pretending to be someone I was not for the girl I loved more than breathing. But lies have a way of unraveling at the worst possible moments, and that Tuesday in March was mine. It started 6 months earlier when Emma and I met at a coffee shop downtown. She was reading Virginia Woolf, and I was pretending to understand a book about car engines. When she looked up and smiled at me, I felt something shift in my chest. Something that made me want to be whoever she needed me to be. Emma was everything I thought I wanted. Smart and funny and beautiful in ways that made other guys stare when we walked down the street together. She studied literature and talked about books I had never heard of and wore vintage dresses that made her look like she stepped out of a 1950s movie. She was also completely straight. Made that clear on our first date when she talked about her ex-boyfriend and how much she loved masculine energy in relationships. How she was attracted to strong, silent types who could fix things and protect her from the scary parts of the world. So that was who I became. Or tried to become. For 6 months, I played the role of the perfect straight boyfriend. I bought work boots and flannel shirts. Started watching football and learning about cars. Deepened my voice when I talked to her and walked with longer, more aggressive strides. I buried every soft feminine impulse I had ever felt and forced myself to become the man she wanted to date. It was killing me slowly, but I told myself it was worth it. Emma was worth becoming someone else for. Emma was worth sacrificing the parts of myself that did not fit into her idea of masculinity. The hardest part was hiding my feminine side completely. For 3 years before meeting Emma, I had been exploring that part of myself. Buying dresses and learning makeup techniques. Growing out my hair and practicing feminine mannerisms. Becoming someone beautiful and soft and graceful in the privacy of my own space. All of that had to disappear when Emma entered my life. I cut my hair short and threw away my makeup. Packed all my feminine clothes into boxes and shoved them into the back of my closet. Became a stranger to myself in order to keep her. But you cannot kill that big a part of yourself without consequences. I started having anxiety attacks from constantly monitoring every gesture and word. Started feeling disconnected from my own body because I was forcing it to move in ways that felt wrong. Started wondering if this was what love was supposed to feel like, or if I was slowly losing my mind. The breaking point came on a Tuesday when Emma decided to surprise me at my apartment. She had a key because we had been talking about moving in together. I thought she was working late at the library like she did every Tuesday. I thought I had hours alone to just breathe and be myself. So I did something I had not done in 6 months. I became feminine again. I put on a soft pink dress I had hidden in the back of my closet. Applied makeup carefully for the first time since we started dating. Let my shoulders relax and my movements become gentle and graceful. For 2 hours I was myself again, and it felt like coming back to life after being dead. I was standing in front of my bedroom mirror admiring how the dress brought out the color in my eyes when I heard the front door open. Panic shot through my entire body. Emma was supposed to be gone until 9. It was only 6:30. There was no way to change clothes and wash off makeup before she found me. "Sam," she called from the living room. "Are you home?" Brought Chinese food. I stood frozen in my pink dress, listening to her footsteps coming down the hall toward my bedroom. This was it. The moment that would end everything between us. The moment she would see who I really was and realize she had been dating the wrong person entirely. The bedroom door opened and Emma stopped in the doorway holding bags of takeout food. Her mouth fell open as she took in my appearance. The dress. The makeup. The way I was standing with one hip cocked and my hands positioned delicately at my sides. We stared at each other in complete silence for what felt like hours. I waited for her to scream or cry or run away. Waited for her to call me a freak or a liar or worse. Instead, she set down the food and walked over to me slowly. "Sam," she said quietly, "is this who you really are?" I wanted to lie. To tell her it was a joke or a dare or anything that would make this normal. But looking at her face, I realized I was tired of lying. Tired of pretending. Tired of being someone else even for love. Yes, I whispered. This is who I have always been. She reached out and touched my face gently. Her fingers traced along my cheekbone where I had applied blush. The touch was soft and curious, not angry or disgusted. You are beautiful, she said, and I started crying. I am sorry. I sobbed. I know this is not what you wanted. I know you wanted someone masculine and strong, and I tried so hard to be that person, but I could not keep pretending forever. It's all right, darling, she said, pulling me into her arms. Stop apologizing for being yourself. We held each other in my bedroom while I cried 6 months worth of fear and shame and exhaustion. Emma stroked my hair and whispered that it was okay, that I was safe, that she was not going anywhere. Why did you hide this from me? She asked when I finally stopped sobbing. Because you said you liked masculine guys, I said. Because I thought you would leave me if you knew the truth about who I really am. Emma was quiet for a long time. When she finally spoke, her voice was soft and thoughtful. Can I tell you something? She said. I have been feeling like something was missing between us. Like you were holding back some essential part of yourself. I thought maybe you did not really love me, or maybe we just were not compatible. But now I understand. You were not holding back love. You were holding back yourself. The real Sam. The person I actually fell in love with without knowing it. What do you mean? I asked. All those little moments when you would forget to be masculine, she said. When you would get excited about something and your voice would get higher. When you would gesture with your hands in ways that were graceful instead of aggressive. When you would notice details about fashion or beauty that other guys never saw. Those were the moments I fell in love with you. Those were the moments when the real you would slip through. I stared at her in amazement. You love my feminine side? I love all of you, she said. The masculine parts and the feminine parts and everything in between. I do not want half a person, Sam. I want all of you. That night we talked until sunrise. I showed her pictures of my feminine self from before we met. We looked through my hidden collection of dresses and makeup. I explained what it felt like to be both masculine and feminine. How both sides felt equally real and important. Emma told me about her own struggles with identity. How she had always felt pressure to be traditionally feminine, even when parts of her wanted to be stronger and more independent. How meeting me had made her realize that people could be more complicated than the roles society assigned them. Maybe we can figure this out together, she said. How to love each other completely without trying to fit into boxes that do not really fit. 6 months later, we are still together and stronger than ever. Emma loves Sam, and she loves the feminine version of me too. She helps me pick out clothes and does my makeup when I want to look extra pretty. She brags to her friends about having the most beautiful boyfriend who can be handsome and gorgeous depending on the day. The day my girlfriend learned she was dating a femboy was the day our relationship actually began. Not the performance I had been putting on for months, but the real messy, complicated, beautiful thing that happens when two people decide to love each other completely. Emma taught me that hiding parts of yourself does not protect love. Real love grows when you have the courage to be vulnerable. When you stop trying to be perfect and start trying to be honest. She also taught me that the right person will love you more for your complexity, not less. That someone who truly cares about you wants to see all your colors, not just the ones you think are acceptable. The day she found me in that pink dress was the scariest day of my life. But it was also the day I learned what it feels like to be loved for exactly who you are. Masculine and feminine and everything beautifully complicated in between.